We back in the house, family. We back in the house. We ain't double header tonight. We dropping this science. We dropping this science tonight, family. Okay then. The Egyptian origins of ancient Egypt. This December 8th, 2019. Right there in the goddamn video description. Don't goddamn miss it. If you want that fire, nigga, then you gonna be in the house on December 18th. And I'm thinking about, and ain't no thinking about, I'm getting the flyer ready for December 25th. God damn it, I'm coming on live. I want to be in your living room, December 25th. God damn it, and I'm gonna bring that note. I want you to go get Granny. I want you to get Granddaddy, Auntie, Thelma, and Granddaddy Buck, and Uncle Buck, and all them. Cousin Leroy, get them all in there. And watch the General Suten Seti holiday holocaust. And I'm gonna run down all the holidays. And I ain't gonna even breathe. I'm telling you, I'm gonna be so much fire on that day. I'm gonna be shooting that goddamn intellectual AK. I ain't gonna miss a beat. I ain't gonna miss a point. I'm gonna make every motherfucking point, and I don't give a god. And just like I say, you can smear. If a nigga got shit smeared on his face, that's one of them sick niggas. And you could give a motherfucker the truth, and you can tell a motherfucker, go look in the mirror, nigga. You got shit smeared on your face. You know what he gonna say? So, you know how them niggas be. But nigga, that don't mean we can't see the shit on your face. For all that fire, videos and advanced lessons, you got to go to General Suten Seti Patreon. I got that fire. You understand what I'm saying? When I really want to cut into them. See, shit I can't even put on YouTube. These motherfuckers cry the blues over everything. I wouldn't even have no YouTube channel. If I put the shit I put up on my Patreon, see, I go over there and I get, I do what I want to do. You understand? And even there, but I go up a couple levels. And so if you want that fire that you need from the General Suten Seti on them topics that you know I need to touch on, then you're going over there to my Patreon, General Suten Seti today. Don't wait till tomorrow, because I got some fire going up. I usually drop 6 videos at a time on my Patreon, touching on that shit that'll make a motherfucker cry on YouTube. So you better get on over there, because I will be dropping 5-6 new ones in the next day or so. Seti.com, we got Black Friday coming up, but it ain't Black Friday if you spending white. I don't want to hear nothing about no Black Friday. We got to make it Black Friday because we spending our money with our people, our black people. Okay, so you need to get on over there to Seti.com, online marketplace, and other African black people's places of businesses and shit. Get on over there and spend your money. Seti.com, ring the motherfucking alarm. Online marketplace, General Seti DVDs. We got classic Seti. We got new advanced Seti. We got t-shirts, hoodies, jewelry for the kings and the queens. I got a boatload of products going up on the site daily before that time. So you can go on there and get you something that's going to make you feel good about being an African. So right now we catching up from yesterday. I was on General Suten Seti page. I wonder who that is. Is that me? That's me. Now I'm on my other page, Suten Seti, the twin towers of intellectual destruction for the Caucasoid. You understand what I'm saying? And so we catching up on the occult origins of the planets, of the months, and of the days of the week. I did the days of the week. I started off with the days of the week yesterday. And I dealt with the original crazy ass Roman calendar and all the deities that they had before you got the Nordic goddamn deities. Okay? And so, the calendar became Germanized because you got to understand that the Europeans of America is nothing but British. Yeah, they came from Britain. And so before, originally it was a colony of Rome. They call it Britannia. Okay, and so around 400 and some odd AD, the Romans left Britannia because they were too busy getting their ass kicked at home. You understand? And it was falling down. So many of the soldiers, Roman soldiers, from all around the other colonies had to bring their ass home because Rome was under siege. And so in the absence of the Romans being in control of Britannia, the Vikings came in. Okay, and under them, that's when the calendar became Germanized. Okay, you start getting the Thors and the Wodens, Odins, the Frigwas for Friday. That's when that made that change. Okay, but let's deal with some things. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to start with the months today. You understand what I'm saying? To show you. And again, whoever controls the wheel, and the wheel is the 364 and 1/4 day calendar. And within that calendar, you got the holidays. See? The seasons. You understand what I'm saying? The seasons. And so you got to understand that we are people of the Southern Hemisphere. And a lot of people, and I had to bring that up, and it need to be brought up, because it show you that niggas don't know what the fuck they talking about. I'm cracking heads. Believe me, nigga, this is my life. Nigga, this is a priesthood. I know when I got you. You know, just like motherfuckers say, December 25th is, they try to put a African icing on a white man's cake. That's just like Kwanzaa. Motherfuckers they want to run behind the cracker in the middle of the dead of winter and try to put something sacred in the winter. We call Kwanzaa the festival of fruits in the dead of the goddamn winter. And just because it got some symbolisms, where they talking, bitch, shut up. You out of order. Damn, you out of order. You understand what I'm saying? You're upside down. That's just like the map. It's upside this motherfucker right here. Upside motherfucking down. You see what I'm saying? When we flip it top side up with South Africa at the top like it's supposed to be, because we came down the river. And so Europe is at the bottom. So when we flip it top side up, you silly niggas, because you oriented like a cracker. You say, as if in the same way with the seasons, the way you think. You understand what I'm saying? Is upside down. And you cannot see that. Your orientation dictate your circumference of reality. And I went over that, and I'm going to go over that tonight. So the wheel, we know that when we talk about the wheel, again, the rotation of the universe, the rotation of the earth around the sun, the rotation of the sun around its greater sun. You understand? We know that Khnum, the Nubian god Khnum, who molded man on the potter's wheel, is the master of the wheel. Okay? We understand that Ra, when you look at the symbol of Ra, you see the circle with the dot in the middle, showing the wheel. And we got to understand the science from that. From the DVD, from the record player. Every fucking thing, even the goddamn your car engine, from the goddamn wheels that's in the car engine. You understand? You get your bands that go on the wheels and turn that motherfucker. You understand what I'm saying? It's the science of energy. It's the science of life. Whoever controls the wheel controls reality. So when you understand that this 364 and 1/4 day is also what's inside of that wheel is the economics, because you're a slave to the calendar. You're a slave to punching in and punching out. So the man who controls the wheel more likely controls the economy. You understand what I'm saying? You got to understand that before I even I got to drop this shit on you, nigga. Whoever controls the wheel, Father Time, Saturn. You see him with the sickle, and he already chopping niggas down. You know why? Saturn, Father Time. You see, Baby New Year, and you don't understand that's Cronus, who eats his children. And they done made a little commercial version, so you can go and put your little costume on and be a little sissy and run around, out there and playing games. And you don't understand that the sickle, chopping souls and shit. You understand what I'm saying? So if he controls the work, he controls the economy. He knows how much. He controls even how much a house costs. He controls how much a car costs. So if he controls the wheel, he controls the economy. He can dictate who gonna get the house, who gonna get the car. He can dictate how many hours you got to put in. And he gonna make sure that you got to damn near spend the whole of the 364 and 1/4 day. Your ass gonna be on the plantation for him to get anything you need to survive. He controls the wheel. The holiday, and the commemoration of the great individuals of his cultures. You understand what I'm saying? So when you look at the major holiday, when niggas spend all, and then you got to understand the billions of dollars that go into the holiday. You already working for the house, the car. Then you got to venerate his heroes, the ones that are responsible for destroying you and your culture. You see what I'm saying? So you're venerating Yuletide. You venerating all this Saturnalia, a pornographic, degenerate holiday. You understand? All them drunkards and shit. They just sit there and drink. Drunkards and, sexual perversion and all that. And so the season, we say, hey, Rue was born. No, he was not born in no goddamn December 25th. That's a goddamn lie. You niggas didn't even understand that in ancient Egypt, their calendar was orientated to the southern hemisphere. So when you talk about Orion, you talk about the Milky Way, and so this is orientated to the south of Egypt. Okay, so when you look at in the southern hemisphere, when you talk about the shortest day of the year, I don't even want to use solstice, because when you say the term solstice, that's the Roman god Sol, which was the god of the sun. Okay, so when you say solstice, you're saying Sol. That's Roman. You see what I'm saying? So when you talk about the shortest day of the year in the southern hemisphere, I believe it's June 23rd. It's not December 25th. So even if you was looking to say, well, on the shortest day and then he was born the next day in the southern hemisphere, it would not have been in goddamn December. It still would have been in June. You upside down, nigga. And I done called a lot of niggas like that. That let me know where you was. And a lot of these niggas I call my teacher. Teacher, gonna get taught today. Gonna get taught today. You understand what I'm saying? Gonna get taught today. You once was a student, now a teacher. You understand what I'm saying? And that's reality. I know it hurt, but it's reality. He who controls the wheel controls the stars and constellations. You understand what I'm saying? Control the planets. And here the Greeks and Romans just come on the scene. And niggas got whole, classes and this and that. And, and I don't want to negate family because in our Africanness, you understand, we got great powers. I understand that. But we have hampered ourselves by using the European terminology of everything. You understand what I'm saying? Because even, say for instance, astrology, and I'm going to get back and shoot through some things. You go in the newspaper, they got one guy, if you're born under Capricorn, they got one horoscope. How can that be? When you look at the sun and how the sun, how we relate to the sun as African people and how the European, he's getting skin cancer. He look at the sun as an enemy. That's a fact. So you cannot have one standard of how the sun regulate to all peoples on the planet, have one standard when you can obviously see that each different people got a different relationship to the sun. And so every damn planet in the fucking universe is bowed down to the wheel of the sun. They are in the gravitational pull of the sun. So they subordinate, just like the earth is subordinate to the sun. Okay, and so how you interact with the sun gonna dictate how you interact with the planets. So if we children of the sun, we got a pineal gland, we got the woolly hair on our head. These is antennas that that when we receive information, divine and cosmic information from the universe, you got to have an antenna. If you had a car or you had a TV and your ass didn't have no antenna on that motherfucker, you know what you're gonna have? You're gonna have static. Shh. That shit gonna come on. It's gonna be, you turn that shit on. Shh. That's all you're gonna, if you put that motherfucking antenna on, that shit get to bumping. You see what I'm saying? So if you ain't got no antenna, then the information that you receive through the universe is going to be static. So how you relate to Mars, and I don't even want to call it that. You see what I'm saying? That terminology. See, we got to break out of that. Because we know that Mars was a fucking warmonger, a bloodthirsty warmonger, just like these Caucasoids. Go all around and even the Greeks did not venerate Mars. You don't find no temple because he was looked at as a bloodthirsty warmonger. You understand? They more venerated Athena, who was looked at as a true general tacticianer, strategicians, where Mars just bloodthirsty. He just murdered for the sake of blood. The Greeks didn't, and they wild. And they didn't even build temples to his ass. And so now and then when you look at, and when I see the difference, when you look at Mars, you look at the paint, the red ochre that our people put on. Mars look like the red ochre. So when you look, the difference between even the blue, when I just on the left, you see the blue Ptah, you see the green Ptah, you see. So when you look up and you see what today they call Neptune, what they call Uranus, and I'm gonna deal with that, some upside down shit. This man is having sex with his mama. Did y'all understand that? When you look at that story of Uranus and Gaia, Gaia representing Earth and Uranus that's her son, and they having intercourse. What kind of shit is that? We got to wake up out of this shit. We got to wake up out of this shit, and then we say these are the energies that reflect the zodiac. And then zodiac supposed to represent zoo, and you got human beings and shit. What is it? Is it zodiac? Is it animal spirits, or what is it? You understand what I'm saying? So they don't even live up to the true definition of what they say it is. Okay? And so I had to shoot that out there. No disrespect to them, because we got family that's oracles, understand that. But you cannot be operating on your maximum level if you using Caucasoid terminology, interpretation, and definition. I must say that. Don't care if you like it or not. It just means you got to step up. You might be good, and how much better would you be if you adopted your own African ancestors who are the true masters of the stars? That's what we got to understand today. Now, let's deal with the months. Because I ain't playing today. I'm going to scoot through this shit, and I'm going to knock you out with the information. How we doing out there? Any motherfuckers fell out yet? If you fell out and nigga, just throw some water on the nigga face. All right, here we go. Let's deal with this. Now, listen to this. Though we think of September, October, November, and December as months 9, 10, 11, and 12, these months were 7, 8, 9, and 10 on the ancient Roman calendar. This is how they got their names. Listen to this. September names come from septum, Latin for 7. Yet, September is the 9th month. Now, and I'm going to get on you niggas. You understand what I'm saying? Because if the teacher, you know how you brought that report card on, and your report card wasn't good, mama put that ass whipping on. You fucking up, nigga. You ain't putting the right answers down. You ain't doing your research and shit. That we check our babies when they wrong, as we should. Okay? So if I say, write down the number, and I say write down the number 9, and you wrote down the number 7, motherfucker gonna say you're wrong. You're wrong, nigga. And so septum in Latin means 7. Yet it's the 9th month. Then you got October. This shit so hard. I just laugh at this shit. I mean, motherfucker, come on, man. It's only 12 months, man. You know, do better than this shit right here. But because they already been fucking with the month, it ain't got nothing to do with astrological shit. You got we got July named after Julius Caesar. You got August named after Augustus Caesar. This motherfucker took a day from February. Julius took a day from February. Ain't got nothing to do with astrology. You just want to be bigger than the next month. So my month gonna be bigger than your month. You understand the rest of them? I'm Julius. You understand? I'm gonna take one because I got to be just as big as Julius. I'm Augustus. I'm gonna take a day and that's why February so got, because both Julius and Augustus took a goddamn day out of February, and that's the one they gave to black people. And then you got goddamn Valentine's Day inside of that. You got President's Day inside of that. So they got motherfucking holidays inside of your little month. You already got 28 little short ass days. And they go in there taking some more days out your shit. You understand what I'm saying? October. October name comes from octo in Latin for 8. But yet when you go in today's calendar, it's the 10th month. Now if I told you, and I told the baby, I'm a teacher, and I say, write the number 8, and you put the number 10, you wrong, motherfucker. I don't give a fuck how you try to justify, and it's only 12 months, man. God damn, man, what the fuck is going? Okay, let's go to November. November name comes from novum, Latin for 9, yet it's still, it's the 11th month. It's the 11th month. December name comes from decum, Latin for 10, but it's the 12th month. Now, listen, I already got that down there. Now, the reality was, after August, they didn't have no motherfucking months. Do I got that in there? No, they didn't have no months. You understand what I'm saying? From my understanding, that the year started, if I'm not mistaken, the year started with, it might have started with January and ended with motherfucking August. And even in there, I might be incorrect. But, because and then it was blank. It was blank, but they already had 7 months, and so they couldn't come back and rename, August, September, and so on and so forth. However that went. Okay, they already had 10 months, if I'm not mistaken. However that went, they couldn't go back and rename the months because they already had names. The people already had accepted the name. And so to come back and rename them and reshift the months would have drove the people insane. You understand? So they just went on ahead and added them at the end. If I'm not mistaken, they already had 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, so they had 10 months. If I'm not mistaken, wait a minute, 7, 8, 9. However that go, I'm going to get the information to back it up. Because this fucked up. Any which way it go, I'm not going to try to explain these people's madness. But I had the information on how it got out of order in the first goddamn place. But the reality of it is, you can see for yourself that the numbers do not match the months. You see what I'm saying? September is supposed to be the 7th month, yet and still it's the 9th month. So they 2 months off. They 2 fucking months off, one way or another. And they 2 months off for the last 4 months of the year. Okay? Reality is they only had 280 days in their original calendar. They didn't have a complete 364 and 1/4 day calendar. They did not have a solar calendar. If I'm not mistaken, they might have been on a lunar calendar. So if you understand, number one, if September is the 7th month, if it's the 7th month, but it's supposed to be the 9th month, how do you make the zodiac alignment? How do you make the zodiac alignment like that? You understand what I'm saying? If whatever zodiac is for September and it's supposed to be the 7th month, yet it's in the, how can the goddamn astrological correlations be correct? That don't make no goddamn sense to me. Whatever October, I ain't gonna say I know it because I didn't go in there and do that. October's supposed to be the 8th month, but yet it's the 10th month. So whatever zodiac identification or that they got for October, how can it be correct when the shit is 2 months off? How? You understand what I'm saying? So that shit got to be a joke to me. November. You understand what I'm saying? It's supposed to be the 9th month, but it's the 11th month. And then you got zodiacs and horoscopes that are supposed to be given for those that's born in November. But if it's not in correct alignment with where it's supposed to be placed, how the fuck is the zodiac horoscope of that month correct for the individuals born in that month? How? You understand what I'm saying? December, name come from decum, which Latin for 10. Yet it still is the 12th month. So if the month is correlating to a constellation and it's the 10th month, it's supposed to be the 10th month, but it's the 12th month, how can the people born in that motherfucking month be getting the correct information about whatever zodiac, about whatever horoscope? How can it be correct? Cannot be goddamn correct. You understand what I'm saying? You didn't do it right. You had a phony calendar, 280 days. You didn't have a true 3. And so when you saw the Africans had, you just went to, it's like when you got a fucked up, like a blanket and you got holes in the motherfucker. And then you come and you start sewing patches and shit on to try to fill in the holes. You didn't have a true nice blanket from the start. You had a holy motherfucking blanket. You had a raggedy blanket. And you went to sewing patches to try to seal up the goddamn hole. But it's still not correct no matter how the fuck you deal with it. And then on top of it, you go to naming the months after felonious goddamn deities. Like December to January. December, if I'm not mistaken, the 22nd, this, that, and the 3rd, to around January, the 21st or something like that. That's Janus, Saturn, Pan. You understand? You're a Capricorn. You the goat. You understand what I'm saying? You the goat. And then the thing is, why you start in the middle of the goddamn month? It's just like you start the day in the middle of the night. You start the new year in the day of the winter when there's no vegetation out there. For those in goddamn the northern hemisphere, start they new year in the day. Why do they start? Why don't you start at the beginning of the month? Each month got a zodiac from day 1 to day 30. You understand what I'm saying? Why do you start in the middle of the month? You understand? Do they start with the moon and this, that, and that's not a solar calendar. You understand what I'm saying? If you starting with the full moon or whatever, this, that, and that's not a solar calendar. That's a fucking lunar goddamn calendar. On the 300, and so you cutting and pasting and shit. You taking from a lunar calendar and then you cutting and putting it on the solar calendar. This is exactly what you're doing. Because you would, if it was a solar calendar, you wouldn't be regulating it towards the moon. So why they don't start on the first day of the goddamn month? You understand? I didn't know it. So my own, understanding is they probably start with the full moon each month. If that's what they're doing, I don't know. I know it's fucked up. That I do know. You understand what I'm saying? And so again, they start in the middle of the month, no different than they start in the middle of the night, no different than they start in the middle of the day of the winter to start anything that they're doing. Okay? Let me come out of that. Don't like it? Ain't nothing I can do about that. So let me go up here and deal with something real quick. Right here. And then I got another one that's cold-blooded. Where that one at? Right here. So you see right here, this is the Egyptian calendar. You got 12 months of 30 days. Okay, and you look at the bottom, it read each month contained 3 weeks of 10 days, a day reckoned from sunrise to sunrise. Not no goddamn moon. You understand? From sunrise to sunrise. A true solar calendar is regulated from the sun. Okay? And the only way you can start the motherfucking you start Capricorn from December 22nd to January is because you regulating from the moon. And that's what the most their early calendar was, the moon calendar. You understand what I'm 200 and whatever odd days they was on the moon calendar. The Africans was the first to adopt the true solar calendar of 365 days. And so when you look, I'm going to bring this one up. I'm going to show you how you niggas is upside down. I'm going to show you how you niggas is upside down. I'm going to show you how you're upside down. Like it, you ain't got to like it neither. So when you look at, when you talk about the summer solstice, okay? When you talk about the summer solstice, that's June 20th, if I'm not mistaken, okay, in the southern hemisphere. And so you see from June 20th to around October 20th, okay, that's 4 months. June, July, June, July, August, September. Okay, well, we won't even call June. From June 20th to July 20th is 1 month. July 20th to August 20th is 2 months. August 20th to September 20th is 3 months. And from September 20th to October 20th is 4 months. That's the flood period. Now, from October 20th to February 20th is the sowing and growing season in Egypt. Now, in the Western Hemisphere, that's winter. That's winter. So that show you right there. And then from February 20th back around to June 20th is the harvest period. Okay? February 20th, March, April, you ain't harvesting shit over here. So you can see that the seasons are totally up. And then we don't even have no winter season. We have the flood period. Ain't no damn winter in Africa. So right there, most people act as if the seasons we have in the north are the seasons all around the planet. That's not true. You niggas live in one box where y'all don't understand it's a different reality outside of the box. So when you go into Africa, they basically got 2 seasons, hot and goddamn hotter. You got a flood period, but it's still warm. It ain't no goddamn cold. It's still warm. It's just, a period where, it's a lot of, and you can't do what you want to do because it's flood now. That's when the monsoons come. If you ever heard of the monsoons, that's the and then this is the time where the Nile floods. And so this happened around the time of Sirius, the star Sirius. Okay? And so totally different than the calendar that we own today. Okay, now let me come back. Let me deal with some of these planets and then I'm going to go back to the days of the weeks. I done already destroyed the months and let you know that these months is garbage. You understand what I'm saying? You can deal with it all you want. Okay, we got 12 months from the jump. And so when they realized Julius Caesar, I'm going to go back there and show you it was the Julius Caesar who adopted. And when he seen that we had 12 months, then he filled in the void that they had on their lunar calendar. You see, he filled it, but you can't patchwork no lunar calendar and make it. They were still off. That's why Gregorian had to come in and correct the goddamn the Roman calendar. He had to come in there and correct it, and he corrected it after the Moors taught his ass astronomy and cosmology. They didn't have it before, and that was in the 1500s, after they kicked out the Moors. All right, so we dealing with the planets, we dealing with Mercury, who's the closest to the Venus, okay? Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. And so I didn't even put Uranus in there. I got to get Uranus. They kicked Pluto out. So you got Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, and Uranus. All of them are Roman deities. Venus is a harlot. We got to say that. She's not Isis. A lot of people say Venus. No, she's not. And she wasn't no damn virgin. And so I tried to say Venus was Virgo, and Virgo mean the virgin. But then when you look at the story of Venus, she wasn't no goddamn virgin. She was a harlot. So that, that destroyed, just because it started with a V, don't mean it's the same thing. So she was not Isis. Then you got Mercury. You understand? And another thing with the months. You got to understand that the months was named after the Egyptian god Thoth, which is Tahuti. Just like when you see Egypt, you see PT on the end of Egypt. If you add the AH's, Egypt, Ptah, and Moon and Tahuti, or Moon and Thoth. Thoth. So you see MONTH, and all you have to do is add the OTH, Moon Thoth. And so in ancient Egypt, Tahuti was the lord of the months. He was the lord of the moon. Okay, he was the lord of the 365-day calendar, because all wisdom, all knowledge, all mathematics came from the great god Tahuti. Okay, so when we look at number one, Mercury, Hermes, bisexual deity, false representation of the winged sun. Okay, so if you want to know the 12 deities, all you have to do is go to the Hall of Mayat, and you will see the 12 deities at the top. All you have to do is go to the Temple of Denderon. You will see all of the constellations, all of the deities that, long before Greek even crawled out of the cave. But you know the Greek, and you give him his spirits and which have nothing to do with us. Okay, Venus, Aphrodite. You see that she's the harlot. You understand what I'm saying? And you didn't name and everybody talking about Venus and this, that, and the third. And you understand what I'm saying? And she slept with everybody she could. She slept with every goddamn god that she could. Then you see Mars, a evil warlord, a warmonger, a bloodthirsty. And so you didn't, and then like I said, when you go into ancient Egypt, you see that red is one of the colors of vitality. You see what I'm saying? You see our Set was red. You see that it's the pyramid. They use red granite to build many of the pyramids. And so the Aswan granite, which was the red granite, was one of the more preferred forms of construction material, because it gave the temples, that bright vitality, color of vitality. They loved it, so they didn't see it as evil. But with Mars of blood, it's a symbol, and it's also a symbol of blood, but not in the way where you would think that murdering and just warmongering and just outright slaying people. And so this is your energy. If you're born in whatever month they say that he rules the goddamn planets, and the Africans then already identified 100,000 years ago, before Greek was even. And so today you say this is the energy of this planet, this red planet. How can that be true? Now, how can that be true? And you're off. You don't even know nothing about the calculations. You don't know how to map, because you ain't been here long enough. The Africans been on the damn planet millions of years. So again, like I told family last night, you got the sun which is also revolving around a greater sun. And many of our ancient scholars say that it takes almost 25,000 years for the sun to revolve around its greater sun. And if that's so, the Caucasian only been out the cave 2,000 years. He ain't even, and so one house, if it's 12 houses in 25,000 or 24,000 years, we'll just round it off at 24,000. That's 1,200 years a house. You see what I'm saying? So you ain't even been out the goddamn cave. One house. One good house. And even if you did, you wasn't even calculating into the end of that house. So how in the hell you gonna have any correct calculations? How can you have any correct, verification of how many years in a house, how many years it take for the revolution of the earth to go around the sun and this? How could you ain't even have numbers. You didn't even have number, let alone to be calculating the goddamn star. And so when we look at the Twa who actually went around the world, who knew that the world was round, niggas still talking about it's flat. And the reason why they know it's round, because they went around the motherfucker. Goddamn. Ain't nobody fell off the edge yet. So goddamn, if it was some type of goddamn dome on the motherfucker, you wouldn't able to be able to go all the way around. And that means that you didn't go past the same point twice. If you got to go back past the same point twice, you didn't go around the motherfucker. So if you was flat, nigga, you would have to, if you go to one end, you got to turn around and go back, nigga. Which means you would have to come past each point twice. Sick of you motherfuckers. God damn, if you go one way and you got to turn around and come, you got to come, but they went all the way around and came back to the same point without having to double back or go through any point twice. What do I mean? So if you understand mathematics, you understand what I'm saying. Okay, and so you see Mars with his evil ass going through, got two dogs again, showing you the European. You know what I'm saying? You got two dogs, they hunt nigga down every day with the dog. And you got this motherfucker talking about he's the energy of the planet, the red planet. Okay? And so you got Saturn. We already know Cronus. And the reason why he's the king, he got the ring. So the ring is symbolic of the crown. And they say this world is being ruled by Saturn. He's the father of time. Cronus, chronology. Okay, and the sickle that you see in the hand of Saturn, let me show you, is also the sickle that's cutting down the souls. What is matter of fact, it's right there. I got it. Coming right after. Coming right after. You see right here, Cronus, eating his children. This the motherfucker you call Father Time. This is the Grim Reaper, okay? This is the motherfucker that controlling time. Okay, so goddamn, you already know what time it is. If he's controlling time, you already know what time it is. Saturday is in honor of this beast Saturn. The so-called planet of the ring is named after Saturn. Because crown is also Cronus. Crown comes from Cronus, and the ring is the crown. Okay, and so they saying this world is being ruled by Saturn. And one of his grandson is the Satyr or Satyr. Okay, and Tyr was also the Roman god, the Nordic god of Tuesday. Want to talk about it? So you see all this in, Pan, he's nothing but a pervert. He's nothing but the lowest pervert do anything. He'll do it with a man, with a woman, with a child. He don't get with a goat. He's in the bestiality, he's in the homosexuality, he's in the pedophilia. That's Pan. And that's the grandson of Saturn. Okay, you see him with his sickle. And he's also, again, the Grim Reaper. Okay, he's also, if you're into, what's that? The Christmas Carol or Ebenezer Scrooge. He's also the ghost of Christmas Past. He's also the ghost of Christmas Past. Okay? And Neptune, you can see how that then crept off into Christianity. You see the trident. You see the trident right there in Christianity. So again, they've never given up all this shit. When you go into fucking Christianity, Christianity ain't nothing but Greek and Roman mythology. Samson ain't nothing but Hercules. All of them motherfuckers is converted Roman deities. That's all that they is. Helios and Sol is nothing but Jesus Christ. That's all the fuck he is. He's the reinvented deity Helios, Apollo, and Sol. And so you see him right there with the tridents on his head. That's a sad looking motherfucker. You understand? Got that dark skin and got that straight hair on his head. They shouldn't have even done that. You understand what I'm saying? That motherfucker looks sickly. But anyway, got the trident on his head. And so, again, the pagan symbol representing male and female union. The wavy lines portray the female and were associated with the serpent, while the straight line is male and is representing the phallus. Okay, a trident protruding from the head of baby Jesus on a Roman Catholic Madonna and child image. And so here you got Pluto. They didn't kick Pluto out. God of the underworld. You see the dog there. And they sicking them goddamn dogs on your ass every day. Sicking them dogs on your ass through the swamps. Ever since slavery. And you got enough nerve to put this motherfucker up on the... So they didn't colonize the heavens. They didn't colonize the planet. Colonize the heaven. Colonize the constellations. And you wonder why you living in hell. You understand? You can't be no true African revolutionary, and they got this much control over you. From the goddamn constellations, the planets, the days of the week, the wheel. They got control of the wheel. The man who controls the wheel controls the field. And this right here is Uranus. And look at this. See how they flipped it? When you go into ancient Egypt, you see the sky is the feminine. And that the earth is the masculine. But when you go into the Greeks, Uranus is the sky and Gaia is the earth. Now look at this. Uranus is her son. And they have intercourse. You understand what I'm saying? This shit right here has got to stop. You know what I'm saying? Good God Almighty. You got incest all in the story, astrological stories. My God, what is going on with our people? And then, of course, you got Jupiter, which is Zeus. And you know what? He's a god of rage. He's a god of storms. He's a god, you know, he sleep with other men, women. He also slept with Ganymede, which was a little boy. He kidnapped him. And so they say pedophilia started with Zeus, Jupiter. God damn. They say pedophilia started with Zeus, Jupiter, because he kidnapped Ganymede. And then the crazy shit about it, when I was looking at the planets, right? One of the moons of Jupiter is called Ganymede. They didn't even put the pedophilia shit in the stars. And niggas don't even know what they were looking at. I say, God damn. These motherfuckers, boy, I tell you, they didn't put the pedophilia in the stars. Got niggas up looking up in the stars and they don't even know what they talking about. But one of the moons of Jupiter is called Ganymede. And he was kidnapped by Zeus Jupiter. And he was an eagle, took him to Olympus to be the cupbearer. And this is where you get Cupid, the cup. You see cup and Cupid. And so that's the altar boy in the Catholic Church. That's who that is. I'm sorry to tell y'all that. And so that's the Roman Catholic Church, which is nothing but an extension of ancient Rome. And you understand that the father is Saturn. And so he eats the children. Zeus, he rapes the children. And this is the spirit, and this is who we call God of time. Father time. We're in trouble. We're in serious trouble today, family. If we don't break this, and I mean that. I don't mean for niggas to look at this shit haphazardly. This is very significant in breaking the mental slavery of our people. If this is still intact, nigga, if he's the God of time, you still a slave. The whole planet. And it's crazy how even nations in the southern hemisphere is on the northern hemisphere chronological calendar. You understand what I'm saying? This shit crazy. They on the chronological time, even though they seasons may be different, these motherfuckers, just like when the white man have Christmas, they have Christmas. They don't celebrate it in a chronological time of the shortest day of the year in June. They celebrate it in December nonetheless in the Southern Hemisphere using slave. I even seen, because the Dutch, they have Santa Claus, which is celebrated in the beginning of December in honor of St. Nicholas. I think that's around December 12th. And wherever the Dutch colonized, even down in South America, even over in Southwest Asia, them motherfuckers celebrate Santa Claus nonetheless. And they got all the little black Pete's out there where the white people dress up like Black Pete, paint their face black, put red lipstick on, put the afro on, go out there and degrade African people. And I'm going to do that one. All over Europe, and these niggas all down in South America, all across, they celebrate it nonetheless, even though it ain't got a goddamn thing to do with them. Even from a chronological state, being in the Southern Hemisphere, ain't got nothing to do with their ass. Yet and still, they worship that motherfucker nonetheless. We in trouble. We in trouble, family. We got to take back control of the wheel. You know, that's just like driving the car. You look up and that motherfucker that fell asleep behind the wheel. Nigga, we about to crash. We didn't crash. We didn't motherfucking crash, man. We didn't crash. Ain't nobody controlling the wheel. And so we got to get back control of the wheel. We got to get back control of time. We got to get back the control of the cosmos. Because we children of the sun. These people been cursed by the sun. We can't see cosmology the same. You cannot have one bland interpretation of horoscopes and energy. We don't possess the same energy. So fuck Jupiter, fuck Saturn, fuck Mars, fuck Venus. You understand? Our goddesses is Isis, a beautiful mother. You understand? Who in her relationship with Osiris slept with no other man other than Osiris. Okay, she was true to her husband, where Venus is a harlot. Frigga, who Friday was a harlot. You can't name and say these are the same as Isis. You out your goddamn mind. And I see a lot of people in Wiccan who try to just throw all the goddesses in a pot and act as if they are the same. That's a bunch of bullshit. Give a fuck if you like it or not. I'm here to tell the truth, only the damn truth. And so we see right here, again, this is sign, and you see that, you know, and another thing, you never seen the sun as the supreme deity in no European pantheon. You see what I'm saying? A god. Zeus is a god of lightning, rage, and storm. Even Thor, a god of lightning, storms, and rage. Odin, a god of storm and rage. You understand what I'm saying? Even Yahweh, when you see that motherfucker, Moses go up on the mount, fire, lightning, dark smoke and shit. He's a goddamn god of lightning, storms, and rage. Anytime you gonna murder every goddamn body on the damn planet, then you see that Yahweh, it falls just in line with all other European deities. Out their goddamn mind. Let me see what time I got. Okay, I'm damn there, you know, where, you know, I got about 5 more minutes. You understand what I'm saying? And so I just wanted to show family, you know, when, the wheel, you see this in Dendera. You see this the original wheel, and even at the time of Dendera. You know what I'm saying? The temple of Dendera, people, goddamn, you know, Dendera was one of the latter temples. You understand? So it was way more ancient than what you saw up in the temple of Dendera. Dendera is a Ptolemaic temple. Even though it's Africans building it, it was a fairly new temple. So even by that time, you understand, it was a far more ancient science than at the time of Denderai. So you see that they were already on the 364th, 1/4 day rotation. And so today the Roman Catholic Church controls the wheel. Okay, and I could go back and show you, this is the calendar on the wall. We ain't got to second guessing. You can see it's regulated by the sun, not the moon. Okay? And now they got a date that go back 4,126 years, but they could not just start with that date. Goddamn, the calculations would have took 100,000 years before you got it together. Shit, you know what I'm saying? And not only did they have the solar calendar, they had the lunar calendar and the stellar calendar. Because they started the year with the star Sirius, which means they also had a stellar calendar. Then they had the lunar calendar, and they had the 365-day solar calendar. They had 3 calendars, and probably have more than that. Okay? Today, the Roman Catholic Church controls the wheel through the Gregorian calendar. And like I said, they call it the Gregorian, and it's because he's a gargoyle. Okay? Gregorian gargoyle calendar, which was introduced in 1582, which was right after they kicked out the Moors. You didn't have one before then, so we know where they got the calculations from to complete the calendar. They got it from the Moors, okay? And so you see the Gregorian calendar, gargoyle calendar, is an update to the Julian calendar, which was borrowed from Egypt, okay? And you see Julius, as he borrowed the 360-day calendar from Egypt in 46 BC. Okay? So they was, and then they didn't even get it right then. Introduced his own calendar, which had 8 days, and they used letters to identify the days. And then they added the deities later. Okay? And so you see, after the Romans conquered the Persians, they adopted the 7-day calendar. Now, when you look at the days of the week, you see that the first day is Saturday, Saturn. And you see him right there with the sickle. And that's why many of these goddamn Christians say Saturday is the first day. Yeah, if you on the Roman calendar, it was the first day. That's not the African calendar though. Okay, that's the Roman calendar. So them Christians that saying that Saturday is the first day, yeah, the first day of the Roman calendar. Then the second day would have been Sunday. Then the third day would have been Monday. Then the fourth day would have been the day of Mars. Then the fifth day would have been the day of Mercury. Then the sixth day would have been the day of Jupiter, Zeus. And the last day of the Roman calendar was Venus. Okay? Then they switched over. And you see solstice. Sol is the solar deity that the Romans got from goddamn Persia. Sol Invictus, the incomparable sun. And this is where you get the term solstice from. So all this shit that niggas using in astronomy and cosmology come with the Romans. And they got it from the Africans. And goddamn, when they took it, they took some and didn't even, because they couldn't count. How the fuck that's like, do you know how long it would take to chart the stars? So though they took the surface calendar, they still couldn't understand the cosmological calculations because it would take too fucking long to understand that. So they couldn't make no corrections, you know. And so for the very longest, so from Julius Caesar up to the Gregorian calendar, that shit was garbage. It wasn't even correct. And so after the Europeans got educated by the Moors, then they had the ability to correct the goddamn calendar. And you see that when you look at Sol, you see the sun in the back. You see the eagle, which is nothing but the winged sun disk. Okay? Why the fuck I'm going to take some garbage when I can go back to the original? Ain't nothing like the real thing, baby. And so you see that wench that's out there in New York Harbor, that's Sol. Sol is a goddess. And then you see the third day Luna, fourth day Mercury, and the last day I left out Jupiter, and we can get there. Last day is Venus. Okay, now we'll go to the Nordic deities I'm scooting through was renamed after the Romans left Britannia. I can show you that map again. So y'all can make the understanding of how it changed from the Roman calendar. Right here. You see that, Britannia, because the United States come from Britain. So the first calendar they had was the one I showed you, starting with Saturn. You understand? Going to Sol, going into Luna, going into Mars, going into Mercury, going into Jupiter, so that was the first one they had. But then the Romans left around 450 BC, and that's when the Vikings came in. Okay, and so at that time, then it was Germanized. Okay, and they shifted days of the week. And they took the Roman deities out and put their own deities in. Okay, and I could go over them real quick, and I'm gonna be out. And y'all could go do some of this research yourself. You see Monday, okay? And we know that it started with Sunday, okay? The first day of the week is Sunday. Just like the new day start with the rising of the sun, okay? The second day is Monday. Now Mars Day, see, it ain't even in alignment here, okay? They moved Mars Day down. It was like the fourth day, it was moved to the third day. And it was renamed after their deity, Tiwa. Okay, was also a warmonger. Okay, and so that's where you get Tuesday. Then you got Mercury, which was changed to Woden or Odin, which became Wednesday. Jupiter was renamed Thursday. That's where you get Thursday. And Venus, which should have been the last day, was moved to the sixth day. It was renamed Frigga or Friday, and Saturday was moved to the last day of the week. Okay, the seventh day of the week. And in the Roman calendar, it was the first, because Saturn was truly the supreme deity. Even though Zeus was the king of the gods, the energy of the Roman Empire moved under the worship of Saturn, and that's why the most profound holiday of the year was Saturnalia. And we're going to get off into that. So just to go through that very quickly and make the points that the planets, that the months, the year, the days of the week, all of that shit been renamed by people that have no real calculations, no real research, have not lived through any of the solar years, have not done, and when they took it, they didn't even have the math, they didn't have the astronomical knowledge to even make the correction. So they just copying. They copied, but they didn't have the knowledge to make the correction. The Africans can look up and say, okay, it's some half a day has caught up and we lost a day, and they'll know how to make a leap year. You understand? To catch up and get the calendar back, because it's based off of the constellations. And if we ain't got this shit correct, that flood could come early and could wipe out our harvest. And so from my understanding, you don't find too many records where the Egyptians lost a harvest because they knew when to pull them crops, which means based on you got to know the stars. You got to know the lunar calendar and the solar calendar. And because they mastered all three, they mastered the time. They mastered the wheel on this planet. And that's why it was the greatest civilization that ever existed on this planet, because they were the true masters of the wheel. And I don't give a fuck what you're talking, until you return as the sole controller of the wheel and get back on your own orientation. And I should have did that. Show you as a matter of fact, I'm going to end on that to show you orientation. And I'm going to get on up out of here. My family say, God damn it, you done been on this motherfucker all night. You done been on it all night. But I got to teach. When you put that compass down, you see the point? That's the point of origin. We put that at the beginning of the Nile. And then you spin it and you circumscribe your circumference of reality. If you put the motherfucker on Europe, nigga, you are unoriented as an African. And the circumference becomes a prison. You locked in the prison. You get up when he say get up. Your time is his time. His deities are your deities. When you look in the goddamn cosmology, the planets is his deities, his great heroes who are responsible for destroying your culture and your hero. So you are in a prison at that point. But when you put that point at the beginning of the Nile, and you subscribe your circumference of reality, and you put in there the Naga Kushite, and you put in there all the African, and you circumscribe, you will see that you are the master of the wheel. And you have to do this again. And until you do this, you're going to be a slave to another man's interpretation of time and chronology. All right, family, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. I'm going to be touching on this all this month and all next month, because I'm going to be dealing with all of this. Be dealing with Saturnalia, dealing with Yule, dealing with Santa, breaking it down on different levels so you can see exactly what the fuck you're dealing with. Okay? And even though I'm going through quick as I go through, and if I didn't make all the understanding that I needed to in the time that was allotted for me, then in the next video, I guarantee you, you keep watching, and I'm going to make the correlation, and I guarantee you, you're going to understand it. All right, family, I'll be black at your ass real soon. Stay tuned, subscribe, hit notification, like it because you love it. Check me out on the Egyptian origins of ancient Egypt, December 8th, coming on December 25th too. Got to get that flyer. Check me out on Patreon, General Suten Seti. Check me out, KingSeti.com. Go on there and get you something that you like, empowering your African kingship, queenship. This is the General, and I'm out. Black Power.